Hi Carlton, it's Ken. I thought I would do a little video back because you said that's how you like to learn new stuff. And what I'm going to try and do is show you some of the things about your setup that you might need to correct. I've set my camera up the way that you set yours up as a starting point. So the first thing, and I'm a bit clunky with the video, so apologies for that, is this distance between here and here is a long way, and you have to be careful with wobble, and what will happen is you'll get this a lot. So that first thing to correct is to bring that down as much as possible and extend the tripod legs. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll work on the next bit. And hopefully this will still make sense. Push that down. Okay. And hopefully you can see that now. This is now much closer to the bottom of the actual tripod, and it will be more stable, and it's useful to try and get this as level as possible. Okay, so the next thing is you've got I think on your video it looked like you had two ball heads, one on top of each other. I'm not sure why that was, but you should only have one there. You've got it connected on one of the two options. You can have it connected here, or you can have it connected in the back. The way that you've set that up, sorry, I'll just move the camera up a little bit so that you can see what I'm looking at, and then I'll focus it in a bit better. Bear with me a second. Okay. So this bit here, I hope you can see all right. It's a very high contrast. So this is my ball head here, and I'm going to take it off the tripod. Actually, I'll go over the rest of it. And you've done that bit right. I've mounted mine like this. I think my Arca Swiss head at the top is a different way around to yours, but that's entirely personal preference. Now the next thing is, with the setup that you've got the way it is, north is that way, right? So that's what you're trying to aim your setup at, and your laser is pointing that way. So that's the next thing we have to change. You can tell I'm not a videographer, can't you? So if I just take this, turn this around and show you. The laser pointer is here, and you've got it pointing the wrong way. So what you need to do is unscrew it from the little screw at the back and put it round the other way. So the front end of the laser, the bit that points at the star, is that. And also when you're setting it up originally, there's a little piece of card in here. So it's important to try and turn it on and see if it will switch on or off. You see in mine, you can see that's actually switched on. When you first use it, it won't go on until you've actually taken that piece of card out, and that catches quite a lot of people out. Something like that. And then when you're trying to line up your MSN with Polaris, that will be pointing in approximately the right direction. And then you are pretty much set to go the way that you were set up. What I would say is this bit goes out of alignment quite easily while you're messing around with your camera. So this has to be absolutely square on to Polaris. If you line it up with that by getting a little green dot on it, then that should set you right. You have to turn it on at that point, and the little button here, and you do that by just holding on a long press. That's the button between the N and the S, and it will light up. All of the lights will light up, and then you'll just end up with the N and the S lit up, and then that should be right. And in terms of the other settings up here, there's a little star on one side, and then there's a star with a line through it. You want to make sure it's on the star, and then you line up your camera after that. So at that point you sort of mess around with your camera and get it lined up to whatever part of the sky you wanted to look at. It's important to make sure this is done up really tight, because you don't want it slipping. You only need to use the laser pointer for a minute or two to line it up with the stars, but what you should do is, once you've set that bit up, is to just check whether it's still aligned, because you saw what happened when I was doing it. It moved around a little bit. So I hope that makes sense. I think you basically take one ball head out from the bottom. You only need one ball head between the top of your tripod and the bottom of your MSN. Turn your pointer round, put it on the other side so that this bit with the writing on is pointing towards Polaris, and then turn it on so it starts tracking, and then turn on your camera, and then for the rest of it you should be good to go. The only other thing I thought about your camera is you will get better results when you start off by using a more wide-angle lens, because it's more tolerant to things like tracking stars without getting them to come out with little streaks. And you also, I can't remember what the weight limit is, but it would be useful to just check with your camera and your lens how heavy all of that is on top of the move, shoot, move thing. I think it's I think it has to be less than, I'm not sure if it's 3 pounds or 3 kilos, but it's one of those anyway. I hope that's useful. I'll try and just check this myself before sending it off to you, and try and edit it a little bit so that it's not quite so clunky, and I hope that makes sense. Okay.